We are back. We are back. We are back. Another new episode, another week. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in every single week. It means a lot. If you are new to this show is all about bringing together different perspectives. We talk about music, pop culture, entertainment, and politics. It's always a good conversation every single time. Be sure to follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, leave us a rating. We know that there's a lot of y'all that have left us or haven't left us a review or a rating. We hate to see it. We hate to see it. If you love this show, leave us an anonymous question. 'Tis the week for that because this week we're going to be answering your questions. So more on that in a second. But I hope you guys have been doing well. I'm doing well. We're hanging in there. Dante, how are you?
Life is great. I'm doing very well, but I'll get into that more on my off my chest for this week. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy. You know, I ate before we recorded, so this is going to be a good episode. It always is. Every time I eat, I'm telling y'all, you got to eat all the time. 3 square meals, okay? 3 square meals. But I'm good. I'm okay. I'm healthy. You know, it's warming up here in Texas. I hate it because I'm not a summer person at all. I love winter because I feel like I can control my body temperature more. But in Texas, when you're hot, it's really hard to, you know, feel cool. But in New Jersey, how's the weather over there?
Man, it's hot as fuck. That's what the weather is. So I'm glad you said that. Can we all admit that summer is not the superior season, especially when you're an adult? Like, it's cool when you're a kid and you're in school and you get summers off and you don't got to do nothing but have fun. But as an adult, I mean, I'm really an autumn guy, like spooky season all year round in my life. That's how I feel about it. So.
But I hope you guys are doing well. You know, this week we are going to be answering your questions, so we're not going to do listener questions right now. So I think that we might as well get some things off our chest.
Justin's gotta get Dante has got to get Justin and Dante gotta get it off their chest.
Dante, do you have anything to get off your chest this week?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Julia, for the lovely intro. So, this week, I tell y'all a lot of things. I mean, 99.9% things I come on here and tell y'all about life and the advice and words of wisdom I give. I live that shit because I wouldn't feel right coming on here telling you to do something that I wouldn't do. So when I tell you to know yourself and know your worth, I mean it because I live that shit every day. One thing that I'm not good at is I have a hard time acknowledging, you know, milestones or things that I've done and taking credit for the good things that I've done because humility has its place. But let me tell you something right now, and this is not a flex for anybody. Anybody that's listening that knows me personally, you already know this about me. You know it's not a flex. Anybody that doesn't, welcome to my world. This is not a flex. But let me tell you something. When I was 21, I'll never forget it. I was in a meeting with a company I was working for, and some dude flexed like a Movado or a Rolex in front of me, and like whatever made me feel some type of way. And I'm 21. I'm making like $12.50 an hour. I was like, you know what? By the time I'm 30, I'm going to be making over 6 figures. Last week I secured that. I beat it by 2 years.
Secured the bag,
you know? So when I say know yourself, know your worth, never settle. You know what you're worth. You know what you've done. You know how hard you've worked and how you busted your ass. And if the place you with right now don't see it, somebody will. Trust and believe it.
We love that. Me and Dante have spoken already, but since you guys are listening for the first time, give Dante his flowers. We're going to cheer for Dante and give him a round of applause. Making that money. Okay. Anyway, so this week, as we teased, we're going to be answering your listener questions. Y'all have been sending in questions and it's been hard for us to get around to it. So we're just going to devote this episode to answering your questions. So with that being said, these questions are anonymous. If you'd like to send us a question, you can click the link in the description of every single episode and click the bio on our Instagram page, which is also linked in the description as well. So since it's anonymous, we don't know who is sending in these questions, but we would like to know at least what state you're coming from or even what country, because we do have listeners in the UK and in other countries as well. So let us know where you're listening from. And yeah, we love it. We love to see it. We love interacting with you guys. So continue to send us letters because it's fun for us to read what y'all have to say, because a lot of y'all ask really interesting questions and y'all will hear that on this week's episode. Okay. Dante, do you want to do the first one?
Yes, I will. So our first anonymous question, this person writes in. So a couple weeks ago, y'all did an unpopular opinions episode. So I wanted to give my own. Feet are not as gross as everyone makes them out to be. They are basically hands that are attached to legs. Everyone acts like feet are so gross and disgusting, but I feel like at this point it's just a trend or something. The same way the word moist is supposed to be gross. It's just a word, exclamation point. They felt strongly about that. And feet are just hands. People need to stop with the feet slander ASAP.
All right.
Justin, if you don't mind, I would like to tackle this one first.
Go ahead.
So this person wrote in, and thank you very much for writing in and expressing your unpopular opinion, because, you know, we can put it on a poll. We will put it on a poll, actually, after this episode's recorded and see if people agree with you. Look, just because you a freak and you like to suck toes don't mean that everybody agree with you. Feet are not hands that are attached to your legs, because feet produce the most sweat out of any part of your body. There are approximately 125,000 sweat glands in your feet. They produce approximately half a pint of sweat per day. Feet, I'm not saying that they're disgusting. I'm not saying I don't want to look at people's feet. Like, well, I'm not, that's not my steez. I don't get down like that. Feet don't turn me on. But I don't think that, you know, there's something that should be worshipped in the way that this sounds. But I appreciate you writing in, Justin. I'll let you go now.
You know, everybody has their preference. Everybody has their kinks. Everybody has whatever gets them going. And for this person, it seems like it's feet, and that's okay. If you have a foot fetish, embrace it, love it. This is why it's called an unpopular opinion, because, you know, most people don't like feet. And I think it goes beyond sweat. I think that feet, you know, are closed most of the time. If you're wearing closed-toed shoes, like, it's closed, it's trapping, you know, especially in the summer, it's trapping all the sweat and moisture. You take off your socks, and some people don't even wear socks, so they stink, all that bacteria and mold and fungus, and some people have warts. I don't know. People have, if you look at people's feet, it's nasty. I could never be a podiatrist, because looking at feet or doing surgeries on people's gouts and funguses, I'm good on that. I'm really good on that. I've never heard of people's hands getting gout and fungus and all of this kind of stuff. So hands are not as nasty to me. If you think about all the stuff that you touch with your hands, I can see somebody making a case for how they could be nastier than feet. A lot of people
wipe. Make a strong argument.
Yes.
You can make a strong argument. Yes.
Right? A lot of people wipe. They don't wash their hands, even during COVID.
But to be fair, I've seen a lot of pictures on the internets and on the Instagrams and all that of people taking pictures and they don't got shoes on and them soles looking dirty. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
If your soles are black, you need to clean your house. You need to wash your feet. You need to do both. I don't get it. I'm not a feet person.
Burn some sage.
Yes, burn some sage, get some Pine Sol, something. That's the power of Pine Sol, right? So, I don't know. I think that if you like feet, go ahead and love it. But I don't know. Everybody has their preference, and feet is not my preference. But I'm not going to judge anybody. This is a judgment-free podcast, a judgment-free zone. So do you. Love your feet in peace. Love it in public. But I don't get any ideas that I'm a feet lover or anything, because I'm not, okay? We already talked about the warts and funguses, right?
You probably should have put your name behind this, because I'm pretty sure somebody would have sought you out and DM'd you about getting their toes sucked. It could have worked out for both of y'all.
Rex Bryan, he's out there. I know he loves feet, so hit him up maybe.
That was a good one. Thank you for writing that in.
Yes. Okay, so the first one I have, this one is for Dante. The person says, have you ever had a girl from your past text you out of nowhere to see what you've been up to? Would you think that she's being nosy or genuinely cares or might be interested? This girl didn't overtly reject me, but she simply started dating another guy. I heard a rumor from a mutual friend that she broke up with that guy, but I'm not sure since I'm not on social media. Should I try to pursue this girl and see what happens, or should I let it go and stay on my purpose since the text conversation is getting kind of stale? Should I have tried to arrange a hangout/date earlier in the text conversation? Help a brother out, Dante.
Well, I appreciate you coming to the former fuckboy for a question like this, because the growth and the progress has been amazing. I say it all the time. So this is layered, right? You asked me 3 different things. You said, you know, do I think she's nosy? Does she genuinely care? Or maybe she's interested. So to answer the first part of this, yes, I have had people from my past text me out of the blue. Yeah, for sure. I'd say about half of the time they were nosy, figuring out what's going on, who is he with, what are my chances of sliding back in here. Then I've had people that genuinely care, like, hey, I hope you're doing well. I hope life's treating you well. Just wanted to catch up, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, I think that the person being nosy and being interested kind of is in the same ballpark there. You know, she didn't reject you, but she started dating someone else. Kind of sounds like you're the rebound here. Like, it might not be working out with new dude. And, you know, she's like, hey, he was interested in me. Let me poke around and see, you know, if he'd entertain this opportunity with me. Should you try to pursue her? That's completely up to you. And it depends on what your intentions are. Do you want to pursue her to date her? Do you want to just have sex with her? It really depends on what you're looking to do. Should you have tried to arrange a hangout or a date? The old me says yes. The old me says, yo, she reached out to you. Something ain't right with her, man. She's reaching out to you for a reason. I've said this my entire life, right? A shoulder to cry on becomes a to ride on. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever forget it. And she wanted you to be that to ride on that day.
Well, I actually don't know if that's true. So let me read that again. So he said that she had texted him earlier, and then she didn't reject him. But then after she had contacted him, she started dating somebody else. So she wasn't with this dude before she started texting him. Once she got in this relationship, then she kind of stopped talking to him.
Oh, so that changes everything. Things. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, so she was texting you, then she fell off because she started dating somebody? Nah, man. Just go past it. Don't even worry about it. Don't waste your time. There's other women out there that will appreciate you for who you are and what you bring to the table. And I hope that you're smart enough to make sure that they're bringing something to the table too, because this can't be a one-way street.
And the reason why this person said this one is for Dante is because I already answered this person's question, but they wanted to get Dante's perspective on it. The way I see it is I agree with Dante now that we clarified where the person was coming from. It seems like she's moved on to somebody else. So since there are plenty of fish in the sea, I don't see the point of hanging on, one girl. There's plenty of other girls out there. You'll be fine, honestly. I think that it's hard to read signals sometimes. Sometimes you think somebody's interested, or sometimes people are genuinely interested in how you're doing. And sometimes people read that as interest when maybe that's not the case. And maybe that's the case with this situation. Maybe she genuinely wanted to know, how you're doing, and it wasn't, some 4 a.m. booty call or whatever. So, it is what it is.
What time did you get that text? That's what I want to know. Yeah, that changes things too. Was this a 2 a.m. text? Because then you already know what type of time it was.
Right. Demon time, okay?
Demons. Yes, demon time. Scary hours.
Demon time. Yeah, we need to know. This is why we always say whenever y'all send us letters, include all the details. Don't worry about us thinking that it's going to be too much. It's never too much. We want the time. We want the details. We want everything. Send us pictures as well. We want everything. I was about to say, yeah,
send screenshots. Send screenshots.
We love that. We are your, we're not problematic. I was going to say something stupid because we're not problematic, but we're your detectives over here. We're trying to figure out the situation to give you the best advice. So the more info you give us, the better our advice will be. Okay. All right.
I agree, but it's layered there. It is layered there. And like Justin said, more fish in the sea. So I wish the best to you. Please keep coming to us with your relationship advice, because I feel like we'll give you pretty good advice and won't steer you wrong in certain matters here. But thank you for writing in. Thank you for asking my opinion. I gave you two different sides of it, what the old me would say and what the new me would say. And then Justin had to clarify it for me. So yeah, thank you. I hope it helps. So this one is long and it's a heavy topic, just to give you guys, preface this for you guys and let you know what's coming up. All right, so this letter says, hey guys, I would like some advice and male perspective, please. Over the past year, I've gotten into several heated discussions with some of my guy friends regarding sexual assault and rape due to situations where they were defending the alleged abuser, in parentheses, who was a celebrity, and saying that alleged victims are lying for clout. It seems like I may have gotten through to a couple of them, but not all, and it's left me feeling a few different ways, and I'm interested to see what your takes are. I also would like to note I have expressed this to all the guys I'm friends with, and that I am willing to explain these things to them if they want me to, even though as a survivor it is extremely exhausting. And only one of them has reached out and sat down to talk with me about it. 1. Is it unfair for me to feel like I am not as safe as I thought I was around these men due to their stance on the situation? And 2, if you were in my position, how would you deal with this situation?
Yeah, this is an important question, because I think that in any friendship, relationship, etc., there are baseline things that we all have to agree with, before we can continue that said friendship. The sky is blue, water is wet. There are people out there that are victims of sexual abuse. This person mentioned that it's a celebrity that these guys are defending. A lot of people have attachment to celebrities. It's like a parasocial relationship. You don't know this person. You might have grown up with them. You love them. You adore them. So when they get accused of something, you don't want to believe it because your perception of that person will change. Or maybe you simply just believe that all women that come forward with allegations of rape or sexual abuse are lying for clout. And what sucks is that there have been issues of people lying for clout. And then there's also been issues of people that have been actually, sexually abused and never get believed. So I think it goes both ways, but I don't think you can paint, one situation with a broad brush and say all people that have been accused that are high profile, they're being lied on. I think that's a very toxic way to look at it, to be honest. I think that we have to compartmentalize the people that we adore and look at them as individuals because that's who they are. They're in a high status, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of influence, but at the same time, they're human and they're free to make mistakes. And they do make mistakes. And some of them actually, commit sexual assaults. So that has to be something that we have to agree on. And I think regardless of how you view the world, regardless of how you view rape, I feel like that's a baseline thing that we have to agree on in order to be friends. If you don't feel comfortable continuing that friendship because they can't get past, believing people that have been abused, I mean, that's on you. I know that I wouldn't want to be friends with people like that, people that never call out their idols or even, play devil's advocate and say, okay, what if this guy is guilty? I think it's problematic to not even want to broach the subject at all. If you're looking at things fairly, there's a chance that the woman's lying, but there's also a chance that the guy, actually committed assault. So you have to be smart and be fair with the people in question. So it's up to you. Personally, for me, I wouldn't want to be friends with them because there's certain things that we have to agree on. Dante and I have talked about in the past about people that are on the opposite spectrum of politics when it comes to what they believe in, and that's fine. If you can't, agree on facts, there's nothing really that we need to discuss, especially as friends. So there's plenty of fish in the sea in regard to friendship. And I really don't have to be your friend if that's your stance, on the situation. I said last week that we're in this culture of believe all victims. I'm on the side of support all victims. In this country, we have innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. So we can't just, flip the script just because our culture demeans women. We have to call it for what it is, let the evidence come out, and then make a fair judgment. That's how I look at it.
Beautiful. And let me, because I'm going to answer, give my perspective on this too, but let me reiterate the last two questions, see if you want to answer those that, she had written in on this. Is it unfair for me to feel like I'm not as safe as I thought I once was around these men due to their stance on these situations? And if you were in my position, how would you deal with this?
I don't think it's unfair. It's tough. If I was a woman, let me put myself in your shoes. Maybe this will help me better answer this question. You're friends with these guys. These guys have problematic opinions when it comes to, victims. Maybe they victim blame. Maybe everybody that comes out with sexual abuse claims they think is a liar. I would have questions about that, especially if they're willing to voice that publicly, because sometimes people will hold private positions, but will never be stupid enough to voice them in public. But the fact that these people are showing you who they are, I think it's fair to believe them. There's that quote, when people show you who they are, believe them. In this case, believe them. I would hate for you to ever be in a situation and then those are the friends that you have around you. They think that all women are lying whenever they're accusing somebody. I think that that's ridiculous. You have to be fair and you have to look at who you're calling your friends at the end of the day. If you were ever in a precarious situation, would you trust that these people will have your best interest in mind? If you have to question that, I think you need to get new friends.
Amen. That is... You know what? So, and I'll answer this, but I want to touch on the part that Justin just said just now before I get into my whole answer. But you have to ask yourself when you call somebody your friend, because I don't take that term lightly. You trust this person in a dark alley? You trust that this person is going to have your back through thick and thin? Because if you don't, they ain't your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to ask yourself some hard questions about things like that. If I can't trust you, if I don't think that you're going to have my back, if I don't think that you know who I am and all these things, right? You're going to let people call me everything but the name my mother gave me and a child of God? Then fuck it. We ain't friends. So you got to really think about who you trust in this life and about being friends. But to get to your question in more broader terms, I think that it's dangerous for, in this situation, it's men, to not want to believe something about somebody that they idolize, because that's what it sounds like. They idolize this person. It's dangerous to think that because this person makes good music or good movies or plays the video games that you like, that now they can do no wrong. All these people are lying. A lot of times where there's smoke, there's fire. So if this person's been accused by 5, 6, 10, 15 women of some misdoings, that deserves some looking into, heavy looking into, because it probably happened, right? And so for you to defend somebody blindly that you don't know, you don't know this person, you don't know how they get down in their everyday life, you just know what they want you to see because they're a celebrity. For you to defend them, that's naive and it's ignorant. And I don't think that it's the right thing for you to do, speaking on these men. As you, the person who wrote this in, as you being a survivor, it's tough, right? Like, I can't speak from your perspective. I think that I would. Okay, so here's the best way for me to address it. When Justin and I come on here and talk about race and dealing with racism, it is exhausting, but it's the work that we have to do, right? At least that's how I feel. It's the work I have to come on here and do so other people know, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we deal with. This is real. And if you feel that same way, that you want to use your voice to affect the people that are near and dear to you, to help try and change their perspective, to make this world a better place, because it just takes one, right? Then, yeah, I applaud you for it. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, I'm not going to judge you for it. And also, they have to be willing to listen. That's the problem in today's world. Not enough people listen. Everybody wants to talk and have their opinion heard, but nobody wants to listen and digest what they were told and then formulate a new opinion based off of that. Is it unfair for you to feel like you're not safe around them? Not to me. I'd be questioning it. Like, so what happens if we're all out, you go to the bathroom, some guy assaults you, or your friends won't believe you if you come out crying and tell them, hey, this just happened to me, or they'll be like, no, you're making that up. That's questions that would be running through my mind. Once you make me question you like that, there is no coming back. Like, once we're on shaky ground, like, especially something serious, nah, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't think it's unfair at all. You really should, think about that and watch your back. If I was in your situation, if I was in your position, how would I deal with the situation? I think you've done your part. I really do. I think you've done your part. You've tried to have these conversations. You tried to open their eyes to something new. If they don't want to see it, you can't make people see it. And, I would just really evaluate if I want and or need these people in my life moving forward. That's how I would handle it.
I don't think that you should judge friendships based on how long somebody's been in your life. I think you should base it on how people treat you. And I think that if you want to take it upon yourself to sit them down and have that conversation, that's on you. If you think that they're too far gone, then you don't have to continue that friendship. Some people are just too far gone and you can't really argue with them after a certain point, and it gets exhausting, especially, someone who has been through assault. Like, the last thing you want to do is explain everything to somebody that refuses to understand. So if you refuse to understand the situation, you refuse in a way to understand me. So we really don't have to be friends. So, that's how I see it. So,
what have you done for me lately?
Exactly. So I don't know, if you want to continue that friendship, if you want to fight for it and you think you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, then have those conversations and then update us if anything changes. If not, still write in anyway and tell us, an update about what's going on. But I feel for you in your situation, but I think you'll get through it. Honestly, it's brave for you even writing in. So I appreciate you taking time out to write that letter and include all the details that you did include.
And you know what? I hope that some of our listeners heard that and you write in and give your opinions on what you think that, this person should do, because we'll read your responses to it on an episode. Mm-hmm. We would love for that, because it's not just Justin and I talking and giving perspectives. Everybody listens to the show can give a perspective. So let us know what you think too, and we'll read it.
Send us more questions. I'll keep teasing that every single time. Send us more questions. We love it. All right. So let's read this one. So this is a letter that we promised to read last week when we were teasing doing these letters. So I'll read this one. Hey guys, I stumbled across your show and I must say I enjoy what y'all have to say about certain topics. I was hoping to get your opinion on something. I'm a 23-year-old black man and I've been involved with a white girl for about 4 months now. Things have been going well with this COVID situation. And she's got me watching shows I never thought I'd give any attention to, LOL. She's got me watching the latest season of The Bachelor, and we've got the first black bachelor, Matt. Okay, America, making progress, and spoiler alert, he falls for the white girl, Rachel. Well, come to find out, she has pictures on the internet of her attending an antebellum party, which rubs Matt and any other decent human being the wrong way. Matt says that if things are ever going to work between them, then she needs to do the work. So my question to you is, what do you consider the work? And what would it take to make the situation salvageable? I personally think dismissing someone and telling them that they need to do the work is a cop-out answer. If they did something as ignorant as attend an antebellum party, how can you expect them to even know what work to put in? What do y'all think, and how can Rachel salvage her relationship with Matthew? For my question about The Bachelor, my name is Justin as well. Call me JTL, Justin the Listener. More questions to come. Well, Justin,
we love that energy. Keep the questions coming.
Justin, continue to write in. Thank you for that question. He dropped a boulder on our chest. We need to get it off. Ooh, lots to get into. Dante, how do you even start to answer that question?
So what I love about a lot of these questions are they're multi-layered. There's different questions within the one question, and I love that. We, like you said all the time, we have very smart listeners and members of this community here. Okay, so I'll start where he says, so my question is to you, what do you consider the work, and what would it take to make the situation salvageable? If I were this Matt person, my first thought isn't, hey, how do I make this relationship work? It's like, hey, what steps are you going to take to be a decent human being? The relationship is secondary, right? That's not what's on my mind. If somebody attends an antebellum party, there are people that are naive. They teach history different in a lot of different places around this country. There is a possibility that this person didn't know the type of party they were attending, unless the staff there was dressed up as slaves. Then hey, that's a completely different thing. I don't know exactly what goes on in these antebellum parties, because if I was invited to one, I'd probably be dressed up as Uncle Ben. And that ain't flying with me. That's not what my spirit has moved for. So when you say to somebody, do the work, I think it's a fair statement to say, but you're right. If somebody is ignorant to things, how can you expect them to know what the work is? And that's where I think if you're going to tell somebody to do something and you're going to try and help them be a better person, and you want to not even meet them halfway, but meet them where they are, then you would have to tell them what some of the work is, and sometimes in these situations, the work can be obvious, right? It's like, hey, look up what the meaning of this word is and what this party is, and ask yourself, why'd you attend it? And if you didn't know what it was, maybe you should have done some more research, not just blindly have went to this event. And I'll leave it there. Then you can talk about, Justin, what you think the work is, and then we can cover more about the relationship piece if you like.
Yeah. Well, I don't like making excuses for people that are old enough to know right from wrong. I'm not going to make an excuse for somebody that's over the age of 18 that is attending an antebellum party. I don't see what kind of excuse you can make for that, especially with what's going on right now. It's not like this happened in 2002.
Hold on. Let me ask. Let me ask, because I don't know. Was she over 18 when this happened?
She was in college.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Gotcha.
What do I think the work is? Ooh. Well, I think the work starts with introspection, right? If you find yourself attracted to this black man, you can't just stop right there. We live in America, obviously, so you have to look at the implications of you being a white woman and him being a black man in America, and the dynamic that's going to be attached to when it comes to y'all's relationship. Obviously, there's things that you don't know, and there might be things that he doesn't know about you. I think it starts with listening. This person has been roasted on social media after the pictures of her attending the party came out. People have written about it. People have talked about it. People have some things to say. Why is it that you felt comfortable enough to attend an antebellum party? Do you know the significance of an antebellum party? These are the questions that I would ask for her, and these are baseline for what I consider the quote-unquote work. Do you know what an antebellum party is? Do you know the implications of that? Do you know why it's so bad? Do you see why it's a big deal that you attended, especially somebody that's in college? And do you see why it's problematic that you're trying to get with a black dude and yet you attended this antebellum ball? If you can't understand that, then I don't think there's really any way that relationship can move forward, to be honest. So that's the first step. Second of all, we had Tiffany come on this podcast. She spoke some truth, and she said that honestly, a lot of white people need to just listen. A lot of times, people want to center themselves in the conversation when really they should just sit down, be quiet, and listen. Especially with what happened last summer, a lot of people were buying books, reading, and educating themselves on the experiences of black people. A lot of people were woken up to the fact that black people experience, systemic racism, that there are things that we go through that they'll never understand. And I think that you just have to, understand that and listen to Matt. listen to your friends. If you have people that you're close to that are willing to explain things to you, that's all part of the work. Not sure if I answered your question. I'm not sure if you liked my answer, but that's what I consider baseline for what the work is. Because a lot of times the questioner or the listener is right. People are always like, white people, they need to do the work. But it's not on us to explain it is the thing. As a black person, I'm tired. And I don't think it's my duty to explain to a white person who doesn't get it, how to understand it. There's just certain things that people should come to know on their own. And it's not my job to teach them.
And I understand your point and perspective. And I think that's where we have in the past and right now actually have some disagreements because, you're right. It's not the burden of the abused to teach the abuser how not to be an abuser. I hope that made sense for people. There was a lot of the same sounding word, right? But if we want to make this world a better place, we want there to be less racist people, less ignorant people. Sometimes we might have to put out a little roadmap for them and say, hey, here's how you do the work. And you yourself just laid out great steps of, hey, here's how you're going to do the work, So that's where we slightly differ in our opinions there. You want to tackle this next part about the relationship?
I think, honestly, let me just be real. I think that this dude is in for a rude awakening, to be honest. I would never date somebody that's ignorant enough to attend an antebellum party. That's just point blank. If you're 18 years or older and you thought it was okay, I just don't think that's okay. Honestly, I don't think that that's smart to continue that relationship, because if this is how she thinks, how does her family think? What does her dad think? What does her mom think? What do her uncles think? Because if she thinks like this, what does her family think? Because if you decide to stay with this person long term and you decide to get married, you're not marrying just that person. You're marrying their family. And a lot of people need to realize that. There are things that she probably doesn't know about black people. And I think that she has to learn all of that stuff before she ever decides to get with the black person. Sometimes love is not enough.
Say that shit again, Justin.
Sometimes love is not enough. There are certain things that this woman will never be able to understand. And I think that when you're in an interracial relationship, it's in a way a lifetime of learning. There are certain things that I don't want to do, and I don't have the patience to constantly teach. What's this? What's that? Oh my God, white supremacy? Oh my God, systemic injustice? It's very annoying. I'd rather be with somebody that gets it versus teaching somebody baby steps. You're grown. You should know these things. And I think that we should get out of this mindset of, we have to teach them, make it easier for them. No, if you don't understand baseline, what's right, what's wrong, what's appropriate, and what's not, it's not my job to teach, and I'll be with somebody else. Because if he decides to stay with her, I promise you, it's not going to end well.
I agree with what you said. And the important part about what you just said is, okay, so she was ignorant enough to do this. There are people in her life that attended this too. So now you're going to be having to question all her friends, all of her family. And that just puts you in an uncomfortable situation. How are these people going to be looking at you? What are they going to be saying about you when your back's turned, when you're not there? What kind of grief will they be giving her about being with you as a black man? So for me, like I said at the beginning, a relationship should be the last thing on your mind. Maybe you should just work on being like, hey, are we capable of being friends after you've learned some things? But in terms of relationship, I know me personally, I couldn't do it. Like Justin said, love isn't enough, right? Relationships in general are hard. And then on top of that, being an interracial relationship adds another layer of hardness on top of it, because we have different backgrounds. There are things that I'll go through that you can't understand. There are things that you'll go through that I can't understand. You need to be able to talk about those things and have open communication. Say, hey, I'm feeling this way. This is why I'm feeling this way, especially in matters of race. In my opinion, this Matt dude did not pick the right person. I don't know how that show really works, but I guess he didn't give the rose to the right person. So he should go back to the drawing board. Maybe, honestly, they should. Didn't the host got fired for saying defending this or something? So maybe they should just give him a do-over season. Honestly,
they just need to revamp that show. To be honest, I don't watch it, but I hear enough about it to know they need to revamp that show. That's all I'm gonna say. I think that what happened was he selected her, like that was his choice. And then whenever they had their after show special, he said that he wasn't going to continue the relationship until she does the homework, the work to understand, the mistakes that she made and, the impact of her decision to attend that party. So I think that they're together now, and it's interesting. It couldn't be me. That's all I'm going to say. It couldn't be me.
I second that. Like Smokey Robinson would say, I second that emotion. It would not be me.
I don't know. I hope we've answered this person's question to the best of our ability. Have we clearly defined what the work is?
The work, well, yeah, I think we both answered that, right? The work is figuring out, is that person going to figure out why is this party bad? What is the meaning of the term antebellum, and what was the antebellum era? For our listeners that haven't Googled it yet, it's romanticizing the era of slavery in the South. Think of the movie Gone with the Wind. That's antebellum. So if somebody's attending these parties, like Paula Deen, she lost the bag over this, right? She had antebellum parties and had her black staff dress up as slaves.
Well, I don't know if she did that. I think she said that she would do that, allegedly.
Okay, allegedly, so we don't get sued. But right, so if somebody wants to attend a party like this where you're romanticizing and dreaming of a time where black people were treated as subhuman in this country, then yeah, I couldn't be with you. The work you need to do is figure out why you'd attended that. Do you agree with that? And come back to me, tell me why this was wrong, and what have you learned. But like I said before, my focus would not be on a relationship with this person. My focus would be, hey, I hope you can redeem yourself to be a human being at this point.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you'll make her better for the next person. So if she ever dates somebody black in the future, she'll at least be more aware about all the stuff that she's done and what she's learned. Because in life, we're all learning. So hopefully, this situation was a big teaching lesson for her, but couldn't be me. Let
me ask you something. You just brought up an interesting point. You said maybe you'll make her better for the next person. Do you think a lot of people are selfless enough to do that in a relationship, make somebody better for the next person? Like knowingly doing that?
I don't think knowingly. I think that in any relationship, you learn a lot. And if you end up breaking up, there's stuff that you learned from the person that you were with before. And if those are mistakes, you try not to carry that over into the new relationship. So I think in that way, that's what makes somebody better for the next person. It's not like you saying, these are the lessons I learned from this. And, that's that. It's just taking what you've learned to not repeat those same mistakes with whoever you end up with in the future.
Beautiful. I just wanted to get that out real quick and see what you thought about it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. This whole bachelor situation is interesting. Bottom line, I hope that these people are happy. It's tough navigating those waters. I can't relate. A lot of y'all out there maybe can relate. How has it been for you if you're in an interracial relationship? What challenges have you had? What things do you find worthy to work on? What things can you not work on? How are y'all's families? Lots of questions, because I have friends that are in interracial relationships and they tell me all kinds of stuff, and kind of like whenever one of your friends has kids and it scares you from having kids. So in that regard, there's a lot of stuff that they tell me that scares me. So, I hope that you guys are happy. I hope that it works out.
Has anybody asked how dark the baby's going to be?
Speaking of which, look at this guy, Segway King. Meghan Markle actually had her baby, I think, over the weekend. So congrats, Lilibet. That's the baby's name. It's a girl.
Yeah, named after Harry's mother.
But yeah, good question. Thank you, Justin the listener. Justin the listener, I expect you to write in more. Write in 10 questions. You asked some good questions, so continue that. We'd love to see it.
He gave you homework. That's the work. We just answered your question. That's the work right there. You write in more questions.
Yes. You know what? If Rachel has to do work, you listeners out there, you need to do the work too. And in this sense, the work is writing in a question, leaving a rating, following us on Instagram, okay? Y'all aren't off the hook. Y'all have to do the work too, okay? All right. So one of our questions that we have from our loyal listeners says, what are some silly college majors y'all can think of, ones that stereotypically produce coffee shop baristas or people working in an entirely unrelated field? All right. Did you want to tackle that one first, or do you want me to go first?
I can go first. What I will say is I think, and I don't think you're a mean person or anything like that, but I think this question is very mean. Look, if somebody's dedicating years of their lives to get a degree and try to, make themselves better based on what this country told them that they needed to do, I respect it because I put in that grind too. I went to college full time. I worked full time while I was in college. Like, I know what that piece of paper, what you have to go through to get that piece of paper. So I'm not going to call anybody's major stupid. Are there majors that don't lead to, and it's your question, right? What leads to these things? Look, I'm not going to sit here and judge anybody's major and call it stupid. Honestly, there's people that have accounting degrees. There's people that have business degrees that are the baristas at Starbucks that you're talking about because they couldn't get a job, or because the way that the hiring system is set up where it's like, hey, entry level, you need 5 years experience. Well, where the fuck are these people supposed to get experience if they can't work yet?
Right.
And you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people going through law school or that are here baristas where they are going to be making some serious money one day. But right now they're in law school and that's what they have to do to get by. So That's just my perspective on it.
You know, I agree for the most part. I don't think specific majors lead to you being a coffee shop barista. And personally, I don't think that there's anything wrong with being a coffee shop barista. You're working. It's not like you're just laying on the couch doing nothing. You're working. You know, there's people that need to be baristas. There's people that need to be our, disposal people. You know, everybody has a purpose in life. So basically this person is saying like what major leads you down to working these type of jobs. It's not necessarily a major. Sometimes it's life. You know, sometimes people have different circumstances. Maybe they have a sick parent. Maybe they had to, finish school and then go help their parents out. You know, everybody's situation is different. So it's not necessarily a major that leads somebody to, have a job like that. It's just dependent on somebody's situation. And basically any job, like Dante said, can lead to you being a coffee shop barista. It really doesn't matter. And the thing with, degrees is that your degree doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a high paying job. There's some people that have like computer science degrees or whatever that do these type of jobs, and maybe they can't find the job in their field. So for now, that's what they're doing, and that's fine. So I'm never going to be one that looks down on somebody, because I think that there's value in everything. If you get an art degree, that doesn't mean that you have to do art forever. You can forlay that degree and, go into corporate America, go into all types of different things, earn a master's in something else. That's what I like about America, is the fact that you don't have to be stuck. Just because your degree says something doesn't mean you have to devote your life to that. People are free to change their minds, and sometimes it might suck that you decided to spend thousands of dollars on a degree and work in an unrelated, career field. It sucks, but at the end of the day, you're doing what you love. You did what you thought was necessary, and, that's that. But everybody's situation is different, and I'm never going to judge anybody. Everybody, has a purpose.
I mean, like you said, they are working, so they are a net positive to society. They're not getting benefits that you and I pay for through our taxes. So, applause to them, because there's a lot of people that don't want to get off their ass and work. I mean, that's just a fact of it. So I'm not going to judge them for where they are in life, because who knows, that barista could be the next Jeff Bezos. I'm not going to judge somebody's walk of life. College is a scam, just to be honest with you. And we keep teasing. We've been teasing that episode for about a half a year now. We promise it. We'll drop it in the fall when people are going back to school. How about that? Yeah, we can do that. College is a scam. The price of college is a scam. What you do to earn your degree is a scam. But, to each his own. I did it. I went through the scam. Justin went through the scam. So, and more people will always keep going through the scam. I
don't know. I have a lot to say as it pertains to college, but we'll wait and, get into that at the appropriate time. I think for any of our young listeners, I want y'all to understand that you might be earning a degree in a certain field. You might change your mind in the future, and that's okay. Don't think that just because you're majoring in something specific, that means that you can't, challenge yourself and go into a completely different direction. What sucks about it is that you're spending thousands of dollars studying something, and then you're doing something different. But at the end of the day, some jobs require you to have a degree, and sometimes it doesn't even matter what degree you have, just as long as you have a bachelor's. So in that sense, it wasn't useless that you went to college, because it's helping you out to get to where you want to be.
Exactly. Yeah, we got time for one more if you want to get into it, Justin.
We can do it.
All right. So this person says, I live in the UK. We got a listener from across the pond here.
Ooh, crikeys.
I live in the UK and would love to hear you have a discussion with a black person from the UK about racism and other topics. I suggest one of my favorite YouTubers. It's Keisha, who lives in London. So that's not really a question. They're writing into us, but I wanted to talk about this because, hey, if anybody else listening to this podcast thinks that there's people we should work with like we did with Tiffany Ferguson, let us know. We're open to collabing as long as it can be a productive and interesting and thought-provoking conversation. Mm-hmm. So
it always is. We try.
And Justin and I will look into this person that you recommended to us and see what we can get going, and see if she wants to have a sip of naughty water.
Maybe we can have some tea and scones and have a jolly old time. Okay, so
a proper good time.
Yes. With that being said, we will look into it. We shall research her. It'll be hard because of the time difference. I think they are either 6 hours in front of us or 6 hours behind us. It shall be challenging. If it can work, we will let you know. But if you have suggestions, If you have suggestions for who you'd like to have on the show, we check it out. We love to see it, and maybe, just maybe, you'll hear them on a future episode. Because I feel like when we had Tiffany on, we really didn't give a warning. They just heard her and they're like, oh, my favorite YouTuber's on my favorite podcast. Hey, things
Look
are
at God. Look at God. Look at God. Just for y'all.
For real.
Your favorite
Just
YouTuber
for
on your
y'all.
favorite podcast. Like, that's a tagline right there.
It's a dream. It's a dream. But yeah, these are the questions that we have time for, I guess. Was there anything else you wanted to ask, Dante?
I know Justin says it every episode, but I want you guys to keep writing in questions. This is so fun to interact with you guys this way. Obviously, we're going to have to do another live soon to interact with you guys. Please keep writing in questions and we can keep answering them and we'll take it from there. I love the energy. These were really good questions, really in depth and layered, because we had to give multiple layers to our answers, and we like the stuff that makes us think.
And we always say these are anonymous. So since they are anonymous, let us know what country or what state you're writing in from, just so we can know. It's fun for us to see where you guys are from, because like Dante said, that person was from the UK. We have Justin, the listener. I don't know where he's from. We have that person that asked us about sexual assault. I don't know where she's from. Let us know where you're from, and we'll give y'all a shout out.
Unless it'll be too particular, and then we'll know who you are. So unless you think don't give us your town and zip code. We don't need all that.
Right. Your social security, you can drop that if you want. Other than that, we don't need too much from you.
Let
me stop. Let me stop before the feds come after us. But yeah, this is always fun. It's always fun for me. It's therapy. Even when we don't talk about serious stuff, talking about lighthearted stuff is fun either way. It's a couple months, I think, until the Olympics, so I'm looking forward to that. I guess that's my highlight every 4 years. Since I hate summer, I do love the Summer Olympics. So what are you looking forward to, Dante?
This money that I'm coming into. But now on a serious note, I love the shore, the beach. I love salt water is good for the soul. So I look forward to going back down there more. And then after that, I look forward to spooky season, because that's where I'm in my element, man. Send me all the haunted houses. Actually, I got to check out that new Conjuring movie, too.
I need to start watching stuff. What I've been watching right now is The Crown. But other than that, I haven't been watching too much TV or movies. So if y'all have recommendations, send it through. Dante sent me 3 movies or so, and I still haven't seen any of them.
He still hasn't watched Sex Education. He's tripping.
Yeah. Sex Education. I know a lot of people and a lot of our listeners might have seen Sex Education. If you have, let me know what I'm in store for. I need to see that show. I need to watch.
Hold on. You've never seen any of You?
I've seen 1 or 2 episodes of the first season. I don't know why I stopped watching.
Yeah, you got to get on that. That's your homework, man. You got to do the work too.
Oh
we
my
assign
God.
homework to other people. You need to start with Sex Education. Watch some Sex Education.
I think I've seen the first 2 minutes of Sex Education, and people were getting hot and steamy and sweaty. I was like, what is this? What is this? But I'll watch that. I've heard nothing but good things, so I gotta, watch that. Not too much going on.
I've been watching, because I told y'all before, it's my favorite show ever. I've been watching a lot of Simpsons, because that's the only reason I bought Disney Plus. I don't care nothing about Toy Story or Mulan or any of that shit. Don't care about none of that. I bought it for the express and explicit purpose to watch all the Simpsons that I want, and I am loving it.
That's so 2016, buying streaming services. Who does that? I'm a free streamer, baby.
Well, the feds ain't coming for me like they coming for you, sir. So I'm gonna still do my upright thing here.
I'm not scared. Y'all come after me.
Y'all hear Justin saying that, right? I want y'all to know that is Justin's voice. That's not Dante's voice.
They have bigger fish to fry than coming after little old Justin for
you would think so.
Stuff.
You would think so.
Whatever.
You would hope so.
Come after me. I'm not scared.
This guy got the dump trucks. I rubbed off on him. You hear that?
Y'all have never seen me in a fight. I'm not the one. I tell y'all. I might be average height, but there's nothing average about these baby sippy cups, okay?
My guy, you let them fucking know. These hands are rated E for everybody.
For everybody, okay? But yeah, let us know what y'all been watching. Let us know what you've been listening to. We always like to post our weekly recommendations on the podcast page, so I hope you guys have been liking that as well. That's pretty much it. Subscribe, tell your mimas and peepaws, write us a letter, and enjoy, I guess, summer. I think it's summer now, so enjoy your summer.
Get some Ritas or whatever they have where you at. Actually, down in Texas, y'all got Bluebell, so send some of that my way. I'd appreciate it. That's good ice cream.
Y'all don't
right
have
there.
Bluebell in New Jersey?
It's a regional thing, so it's kind of tough. It's like, you know how like there's like y'all have Whataburger out there, right?
Right.
We don't have that. We have Shake Shack.
I see. Sometimes I don't realize how good I have it over here in Texas. You know, y'all don't play on Texas. Low taxes, no taxes in some places. It's good. Land, actual backyard space.
Well, we have that here. We have land in the backyard and space here because I'm in South Jersey, not North Jersey.
Y'all's houses are like made out of like panels or wood or something.
You know, if it gets below 30, we know our grid's going to work down here. But we ain't arguing over. We ain't going to argue over. You know, what's the better location, right? That's not the point of this podcast.
Right. We can argue about that all day. Where do y'all live?
Y'all got beaches? Let us know.
Y'all got taxes?
Shit, we got them here in New Jersey. I tell you what.
Dang, cost of living is ridiculous over there.
Big, super big facts.
Yeah, that's it for this episode. I feel like we've been rambling. Hopefully y'all have been enjoying the banter. But I love you guys. I really do. The love is deep. Thank you for listening to this or caring about this in any way. It means a lot because people do make it to the end on these episodes. So I appreciate that.
Now, we appreciate everybody and everything we've built here. And we look forward to keeping it growing. So like Justin said, go tell your friends to tell their friends about it. We're polar opposites. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell somebody about this. Leave us a rating and a review. And write in more anonymous questions. For Justin, I'm Dante. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.
Bye, guys.